How's it going, guys and girls and cats and squirrels? My name is Neil and welcome back to Pokemon TCG Pocket. Last time I actually made a video on this was like back when I did the emblem thing, which was like a few months ago at this point. This time it's going to be a little bit different though. This time we're basically going to be showcasing everything I've managed to pull basically from the start of the game to now. Right now, it's actually the first anniversary kind of celebration thing. We're in part 2 right now, which has quite a few rewards if we go to missions in a bit. So it's basically been a full year at this point. The game came out on October 30th of last year, 2024, and it's already November 20th right now. So a full year plus like half a month. And basically, I'm going to be showcasing what I've been able to pull from the start of the game. I don't know exactly when I started playing the game. I think it was like as soon as the game came out, but obviously I don't really remember. I just know that I have been around pretty much since the game started. I don't know if there's like a few days here and there where I kind of missed. But either way, even if I started like a week later, it has been a full year at this point, which is kind of insane to think about. This game has been out for a full year, like what? But anyway, not only are we going to be like showcasing the cards, which I know is like the main thing, we're also going to be going through like a few of the cards that specifically stand out to me and like have meaning, because most of the rarer cards that I have do have a bit of a story behind them, even though some of them are just like, oh, I pulled this one day and I got lucky. But a lot of the things here do actually have a bit of a meaning. So like I'm gonna probably ramble a lot. I'm gonna try not to have too much rambling going on in the video, but you know, it's me. It doesn't really go according to plan, so we'll see what happens. So I guess first thing we could actually go through is my main profile here. I don't really mind showing the friend ID thing. It doesn't really matter that much. But of course we have our little picture here. I've got Lunala right here, just because I think they're like one of the coolest looking from the Alola thing. I do have quite a bit of these, but this one kind of stands out to me, and that's why I like having it. Of course, my little name right there, NeoGG. And of course, I like Pokemon from the Hoenn region because I never really talked about it that much, but I have been playing a lot of like the Gen 3 games. So like Pokemon Emerald for the Game Boy Advance. I am recently playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire right now, which is pretty fun to play. And I've just kind of grown a little attached to the Hoenn region, which is why I had that there. They've had this here before it was even released in the game, which was kind of funny. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I guess my battle record, I've almost won 400 matches. I don't really play too much competitive. I used to at the start, and then I kind of thought there wasn't really a point except for like the emblems and stuff. So you can see right here, I have like this emblem, the recent one. But like if we go down a bit, I don't really play that much, especially like for these ranked things. I definitely got up to like this Ultra Ball thing over here for like these two. And then I kind of just stopped playing ranked a little bit. But at first, when the ranked stuff started happening, I was definitely in there for a bit. And then, of course, we have the emblems that we got last time. I think the 2 videos I made were for like the gray one right here and then this yellow one. That was like the last time. That was months ago when we did those emblem events. But yeah, pretty fun stuff. And of course, I have Blaziken right here because it's pretty much my favorite at this point. We don't have to look at this player featured thing because I'm going to go through all of that later on. We got a wish list, of course, just a bunch of fun stuff. And then this is what this looks like right now. So in a post, I did mention, I think I said nearly 2,000 packs. So like it's almost 2,000 and 1,800. So quite a bit there for this one. I just don't wonder pick that much. So this is like almost 1,000. And then when I made the post, I also mentioned 10,000 cards collected. In our thing here, it says like under 10,000, but I think that's like, I guess this is owned because I trade a few and I also share a few. I don't know if this is like why this is different, but either it's because of like the sharing or something else. I also find this kind of funny down here. I've only done 399 versus battles, but I've done not really 1,000, but close to 1,000 solo battles. And partly the reason is because those solo battles for those events, sometimes they're insanely tough. The recent deck battles that you have to do whenever a new deck comes out or a new set comes out, right now, the current ones are insanely tough. You have to battle those mega Pokemon in those decks, and sometimes they're a little hard. So that could lead up to like tens of matches over and over again. I don't know if they count one even if you lose or concede. Oh, this is only counting wins. Okay. If it counted even the losses, this would have probably been over like 2,000 at this point, because I've lost a lot of single battles. And it's a little dumb, I guess you could say, but those things are really tough. Especially when I first started, everything was like, I didn't understand what was going on, so obviously I lost a lot. But you know, we got up there in the end. All right, so now we're moving on to the My Cards screen. I don't exactly know how to sort this right now to explain what I'm going to explain. But I guess one thing I can do is actually press this button right here, and we could actually see like only the names of these sets and like how many cards you have completed in it and if it's completed or not. What we could see here is that yes, I've completed all of these more or less. at least all the basic diamonds. So we got Genetic Apex, Mythical Island, which was fun, Space-Time Smackdown, Triumphant Light, Shining Revelry, Celestial Guardians, Extra Dimensional Crisis, Eevee Grove, Wisdom of Sea and Sky, Secluded Springs, and then obviously the deluxe pack is not really gonna be done for a while, but there is a whole coalition right now of like friends and people like sharing cards to get each other's sets done, which is really fun. I actually started getting into that myself. So like anytime I could share with someone, you could do this too. You could just like share a card that someone else doesn't have, but you have an abundance of, or just enough of to share. And then we could all help each other finish this whole thing. Cause unless you're like pay to win, pay to play, I don't think anyone's gonna really have this thing done. Cause there's a lot in here. It combines basically every one of these. I don't know to what extent, but I'd say like most of these, it combines into just this one thing. And you have to get every single card again. Like they didn't actually count any of the ones you got in here for this, but I think later on they said they were gonna, I don't know if they was gonna do it backwards or not, but I think anything you got in here in deluxe was gonna filter into these as well. I don't know if that's actually correct, but as of right now, that's how I understand it. Or maybe anything you collected here might filter into this. I don't really know. I think they said till next year or something. I'm not really sure. Of course, we got some promo, and then the promo B we started actually just with this Pikachu here. I'm gonna talk about all of this. Maybe I should right now. So we could actually talk about promo A right now. So we're gonna go through here. There's only one card I don't have. So if we scroll through here, there's like a really zoomed out view, so it's hard to see anything. But I basically have every single one of these things except for one. And if we actually go to the search icon here, and we could hit, I think it's promo cards? Yeah, okay, so we could see right here that we're missing number 10, which is a Mewtwo. And what I believe this was probably the monthly thing, because every month that you're on the premium thing, you get a card. Basically, you get a card like this. I think another example would be like this one right here. So it's a lot of Pikachus apparently, but you would get one every month. And I guess this 1 month, I didn't pay attention and I didn't get the Mewtwo. So this whole promo A is literally incomplete, and you can't trade those. You can't like give those away. I don't think there's a way to get it ever again, even though it's like, it's whatever, because it was a regular Mewtwo. It's a full art, which looked really cool, but it's just the same as like this Pikachu here. It doesn't do that much. If anything, the Mewtwo doesn't even evolve to anything, unlike Pikachu here. So I'm not really like rolling over in my grave just not having this one, but it is kind of silly that I paid attention for every other one, but not the Mewtwo. I guess I don't know what was going on. I think at first I didn't play that much. I would open things, of course, but I never really like paid attention. So that was all kind of silly. Other than that though, there's not really much to talk about for these things. I mean, I guess I could say that like some of these are like actually my favorites. Like this guy right here, this guy looks insane. The short I posted of like pulling this guy didn't really do that much, even though this guy looks insanely cool. Got a few other favorites here like Ultra Necrozma. They're kind of whatever, and these are kind of like kind of gimmick cards at this point. But they were really fun to play as. I remember playing with these. They were really fun. But yeah, not really too much to talk about. I mean, this Rayquaza is like the coolest, I guess, among them. Obviously, like the function of some of them are a little ridiculous, but I think some of them are actually really good, and some of them are pretty much just better versions of like what they are normally. And what I mean by that is that they just have a full art. So like the Sprigatito here has the full art, but I think you could only get one of these because it was, I think, the monthly thing, the premium thing. Similar thing to the Mewtwo here. This is like obviously the shiny form, but I think you had to buy that, which I did. But regardless of all that, pretty cool cards within here. I loved getting the full arts of most of these because these are just like really cool to look at, and they're fun to display as well. Okay, but we don't need to talk about promo all day here. What I almost want to do is I have an idea. Okay, so we could do this. I believe if I could just mark all of these like this, then what I could do is set it to recent. And then everything that's 1 star and up is now sorted to like up here is when I started getting rare cards. And then as we go down, it's just all of them in order. Obviously, this isn't including like the diamond ones. So this is kind of interesting way to sort this. So this is a really ugly way to sort things, but this will allow me to kind of explain most of the cards that matter to me in an orderly fashion. So I guess we can kind of do this for a little bit until this gets annoying. So let's see here. We got Rainbow Border Gengar right here. I think at this point, I was just opening packs. This is like when I first started, obviously, but like when I started getting the rare cards. So this Gengar I thought was really cool. But like when I started, I didn't understand how to play per se, and I actually didn't know what was rare or not rare. So I think when I saw this card, I didn't think too much of it, which is unfortunate, but I do remember getting these like full arts because these were really cool to look at. And like I said, at the time, I didn't really understand them, but I definitely used them quite a bit. And bizarrely, I guess, this isn't like the third card ever I've gotten, but I like remember at the very start of me playing, I got this golden crown Charizard all of a sudden. And what's really sad is that it was before I ever recorded anything, but I don't think I ever even understood what this was or like how I got it or when I got it, because I can't remember when I got this. It was just early on throughout the journey of opening cards. So just insane that I got a crown rare all of a sudden. Definitely one of my like prized possessions I have in here, because I think I only have like 2 crowns, but him as my first was actually pretty cool. And of course we got Bulbasaur here, very nice looking. We got Ditto, Cubone. I don't even think I have 2 of these things. I think I knew what a Ditto was at that point because obviously everyone knows Ditto. So to see it in the full art was pretty cool. Cubone, pretty cool card. I only have 1 of those, which I could have sworn I had more. And then after that, we started pulling some immersives, which are my personal chase cards. Anytime a new set comes out, I'm always pretty much only chasing the immersive. And then once I get that immersive, I actually move on to the next deck. I don't know why I keep saying deck. The next set I move on to, and then I just try to see. But at first, when I started the game, I didn't understand that, so I just kept going, which is why I have 2 of these things. This immersive Mewtwo was like the coolest thing ever. I'm not gonna show it because it's like almost a full minute of animation, but it's just really cool. I actually this is when I was conscious at this point and knew what cards I was trying to get, and the immersives were definitely on there on my list, and I couldn't believe even getting 1 or even 2 for that matter. And I must have realized that maybe I should stop trying to open this specific set. So I moved on to the Charizard set, and then shortly after I pulled this immersive Charizard, which I think it was like, for some reason I thought this was like the first immersive I got, but no, it was Mewtwo of course. And then I proceeded to get a Charizard immersive, which was really cool. I only have 1, and I think partly the reason I have 2 of these Mewtwo immersives is because I think I was trying to open a ton of just the Mewtwo packs, because I think I was chasing Gardevoir or something. So like looking back now, I shouldn't have done that. I opened too many Mewtwo packs when I think about it, which is why Genetic Apex was never complete for me for the longest time, because I wouldn't open the Pikachu ones for some reason. But either way, after a while, I started getting more Squirtle, Electrode. I think this guy, I got 4 of him. I think you get him often. I don't remember why. I think, you know what? This is probably because I opened too many of the Charizard packs as well. So that's a little funny. Got Nidoqueen, Zapdos. This was the coolest card I have ever pulled when I was trying to get, I think this was for the Pikachu one, right? Yeah. I was trying to get Pikachu immersive at this point, and I ended up getting this Zapdos, which was like the coolest card. I kept using it in battles and trying to find decks to use them in, and it was really fun. I believe this Eevee is just another, or unless I pulled it, oh no, I guess it's from that. Huh, for some reason, I thought this one was a monthly thing. I guess not, huh? But yeah, that Eevee was really fun to just look at, I guess. Vaporeon was pretty cool to actually use because of the ability at the time, but I only ever pulled 1 of these to like show off, so I didn't really use it that much. Marsh Shadow, how many do I have? I just have 1. This card, very iconic, pretty much in any battles. Now, we're gonna get into something. This is when the new set started, the Mythical Island thing. I pulled 3 of these things. I have 2 right now, but I traded 1 a while back to get a Wishy-Washy Rainbow Border card. I used to have 3 of these things, and it was insane. And because it was only 1 pack, I couldn't control to like not get it anymore. So I just kept I got so many of these things. At least I didn't get 5, like we'll see later on. But it was just absolutely insane. I mean, this card at the time was pretty fun. It was, even later on, it was pretty fun to use because of the genome hacking. It was a bit overpowered depending on how you used it. But yeah, pretty fun. This was even during the time where I didn't really understand Rainbow Borders at all. So I just looked at this as like, oh, is it just like another cool looking card? I didn't know the hierarchy of the rarity at this point. I definitely did when I got this Budding Expedition. This was my first full art trainer, or supporter, I guess. It's both. It's a trainer and a supporter. But yeah, this one was pretty cool, even though it's partly useless because you have to use a Mew EX, which I tried, but you know, it's not really the best deck ever. especially for that time, but it was my first full art trainer. I couldn't just like pass this up. It was really cool. I think this was also when I started actually posting the shorts, and this budding expeditioner was one of them during the start. It was really fun. And then I think this set, is it? No, it was still the first set. I started going back and forth between them, so I would go to like Genetic Apex and then Mythical Island over and over again, because I was still hunting for Genetic Apex cards. And I remember this Snorlax was like part of a set, a little bit of a story thing, because like Snorlax is always blocking the way, and these full art, there's a whole set of full art cards that actually explain the story a little bit, because they kind of show from different perspectives, which is fun. And then the next immersive I ever got, so Celebi EX. This one, not in particular, but it's still the same Pokemon, is very special to me because at the time, this Celebi type was like dominating the whole PvP thing, and I wanted a piece of that action. So after figuring it out, I was like, wait, I've been opening these things, Mythical Island, for so long. I haven't even gotten a single Celebi, which is like the chase card for the set. Eventually, I did pull the 4-diamond regular EX, which was amazing. And then shortly after that, I pulled this immersive, which was insane. I have it up on the channel actually as a little short. And I don't remember if it was the first immersive I posted. It might have been. Yeah, most likely, because after that a little bit, I of course went back to Genetic Apex, and then I got the Pikachu immersive that I wanted. But what's funny is that I actually pulled 2 of them. So the same thing that happened with Mewtwo. I just didn't pay attention, and I just kept opening the packs and then got another one. It was still very welcome, but I'm like, okay, I kind of understand that if you have too many of these things, there's a little bit of a problem. It's almost like a curse. Like you keep getting the immersives, but you want the other cards. You want like the 2 stars or the rainbow borders. Basically, like if you already have the immersive, I don't really want to open the pack anymore because I'm scared I'm going to get more, which has happened. I'm going to show you that it has happened. And then of course, we just started opening more of the Mythical Islands. We got 5 Executor things, and I'm gonna, actually, I should say this right now. Partly the reason I'm doing this right now, showcasing all this, because I'm gonna essentially exchange all of these cards, like the duplicates that I have, for the actual like things, the little tickets. So these things down here, I can't do this one apparently because I would need an extra. But these special ticket things that you can use in the shop, I haven't exchanged a single super rare to get those, and there's 2 like sets that you could get for like your decks and stuff. I don't have a single one of those, but I think I have enough rares to transfer to get enough tickets to buy both of the sets. So I was partly saving all of the rares before exchanging them. I just wanted to show how many duplicates I have and how annoying it kind of is before I actually start doing the exchange stuff and actually like giving them away, or just start, you know, exchanging for the tickets. So definitely gonna do that afterwards. I think these you could only exchange for like 1. Yeah, okay, so I don't really know if I'm gonna like do that with these little ones, but definitely with the immersives and the other stuff. But of course, as I was saying, we continue with Mythical Island. Is this Mythical Island right here? No, it's actually a little bit more of Genetic Apex. And I think, oh, this one's actually like a good example of a story with a card with a story. So I don't actually remember how I got this one. It was either traded or it was wonder picked. I want to say it was wonder picked. I actually forgot. I can't believe I forgot. So this is of course my Korean Gyarados, which is, I didn't understand that was actually a thing that could happen. So other people from different countries and languages, when they play the game, they get the cards like this, whatever language that they have. For me, it's obviously English, but that also applies as like a thing that you could collect. So if you're just like a maniac, you could probably just try to get every card of each language, which I don't even know if that's a thing you should try to do. But I don't even have an English one of these. I have a Korean one, which is really cool. When you're playing the game, obviously it's going to be in English because you can't read it. Like I can't read this, but in your set list, it's actually in the language that you got it in, which is just really cool. And it's like, this was the first time I actually saw that in action. I believe the second time I saw this was like, I have another Celebi EX, and I think it's Korean as well. I think I friended a Korean person, I guess, because I kept wonder picking from them and trading with them. So that must have been how I got these, but it's really cool. One of the first times I've ever seen that. And then after a while of getting a bunch of these things, so like, obviously I have so many duplicates because I kept trying to complete Genetic Apex. I had a bunch of people trying to help me, but it was kind of hard to also pull the cards, or at least attempt to, and actually finish the thing. But eventually we did, and we have this Mew to kind of commemorate that. So I think you get this for completing all of Genetic Apex, because it is like a really big set compared to like the other ones that are just like extra ones. But you get this little immersive Mew, which I mean doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of fun to have. And it was definitely really cool. I don't know if I think I did make a short out of it, even though it's not really that important, but it was very momentous for me. I think next, what are these? So this is a Mewtwo one. We got this full art Dragonite. We have two of them, which is really cool. Dragonite at the start and like throughout the middle of the game's life was like really popular to use. So very happy that I have two of these. Porygon was another Mewtwo set one. And then, okay, I think we started here with the crazy stuff. When we go to Space Time Smackdown where like Dialga and like Palkia start happening. My first ever Rainbow Border and basically rare card from the set was this Darkrai EX, which it wasn't the one I wanted, but it was really cool to just get one of these at all. So I was like super happy to get one of these. And we're gonna see later on that getting this guy, I would have been fine if I didn't, but it was still really fun to like get. So I'm really happy about that. Next, we actually had this Weevil EX, which I had to learn about what this Pokemon was because I don't actually remember from all of the games I've played. So I did a little bit of research and I actually used them a bit in battle and they're really fun to use. But besides that, not that much story against that one. And then actually there is a story. So we got this Weavile EX and then a little bit later, we got the like Rainbow Border full art. So just regular full art and then Rainbow Border full art. And then this one, most of these have a little story behind them. This one has a little story of like these Weaviles up in the trees, watching this little thing. I don't know, I forgot what they're called, but they're like traveling in the snow. Very, very interesting. But yeah, literally two rare Weavile EXs off the bat. Then of course we got some full arts down here. I'm actually going to speed along through this to get past the like other ones. My second ever full art trainer was Cyrus, which is insane. I think he's pretty much a chase card for most people. I only have one of them, but that's pretty much all I really need. And this guy was like actually really cool looking compared to the other one I got. And this one's actually usable. It was pretty fun to get. And then shortly after, when we were trying to get the Palkia cards, we actually got this one right here, which at the time was like the prettiest one I've ever seen. So like the short I have of it, I think it's one of the highest viewed and it's just a really good card. Actually, I tried using them a lot. It's a little difficult nowadays to try to use this card, but I did try at the time and it was pretty fun to use because they have confusion and whatever. But regardless of how you use it in battle, it was just a really pretty card to have. And then shortly after, we got this Cynthia full art, which is also another good chase card for people to get. This is the time where I started getting a bunch of like full art trainers finally, because at first in Genetic Apex, I don't think I got a single one, even though I'm pretty sure there were like a bunch of them. I just got real unlucky at the start, I guess. But we started getting like full arts like Cynthia, which is amazing. Then we got this full art Giratina, which is like really cool to look at. I think I got this in a Wonder Pick because I don't think I ever pulled it. So I was really happy to get it at least in something. And then for a long time, this card right here, Infernape EX Rainbow Border, was my favorite card, and it was actually my chase card when I saw this set release. So I was like insanely happy to get this, especially like very, very soon, as soon as the like whole set released. Like it doesn't look like I got it that soon, but like it was very soon after the deck released. I opened, I think, so many packs of these. I don't know if I pulled this alone or in a 10 pack, but I remember getting it very quickly. We only have one, of course, but it was one of my favorites for the longest time, and it was on my home screen for the longest time. Very, very cool card indeed. Then of course we continued getting a lot of the full arts. We got Lapras, Unknown, Houndoom. I tried getting Houndoom at least once. I ended up getting two of them because I thought they were really cool. And yeah, they are really cool. I even tried using them. I wasn't really that good with it. And I think this was the start of Triumphant Light, right? No, that was Charizard. Was this one the one? Yeah, Triumphant Light started with Arceus and all that. And I was actually very stoked. I think we have this Weezing. We have 5 of these Weezing. I think some of these got pushed up because of like when the last time you got them. So I have 5 of these Weezing. I'm pretty sure I got it way before, but it put it down here where Arceus is because I'm guessing I went back and pulled more. I'm not sure. But again, another like insane pull. Almost immediately after the set comes out, I get the immersive Arceus, and this guy in a deck that I actually used for an emblem event. I actually like loved using this card, and just Arceus in general. He was really fun to use, and the fact that he can't be affected by things was kind of interesting to see, especially like when you're playing against someone, because sometimes people will make like a poison thing, but when you go against an Arceus, that kind of just doesn't work at all. So it was very interesting to use. But there was a bit of an issue here because while Arceus was coming out, I still needed to complete the Palkia and Dialga packs. So I just had to go back and start doing those again. So that's where I started getting the full arts of those all of a sudden. So we got like 2 Heatrans, of course, and then we got a full art Dialga EX, which was my favorite because I used a Dialga and Arceus at the same time. So it was really cool to get like a nice shiny card to use in that deck. And then we got the Darkrai that I actually wanted, which was this full art right here. We of course got the rainbow border first, but then after a while it came back to the deck, to the set, and we eventually got this full art Darkrai, and it was really fun to get. And then actually all of a sudden I got this rainbow border Pachirisu EX, which was like really cool to look at. It was one of the first times I got one of these, like, they're not realistic, they're kind of semi-realistic in their art. It's a really good art. And it was one of the first times I actually got an interesting looking one like this. And I think it was actually the first time I got a Pachirisu at all. So it was just very interesting to see. And then of course, after that, we got Gallade EX full art, which I've used quite a bit. I actually have him in the deck right now. I'm not using the deck, but it was an interesting deck to use. I'm going to show all my decks as well, not just all the cards that I have. So this is actually going to be quite a long video, but I think it's okay. It's a full showcase, basically. Not everything, but most of everything. I think at this point, though, we started getting into the next set, which was Shining Reverie. So of course we got this full art Wigglytuff. I only had one. I thought I had 2. I think I traded one. But yeah, just very interesting. This is when they introduced shinies, and you could see already the first shiny I got was this two-star shiny Charizard EX from the new set. It was just insane. I was in shock. It was in a 10-pack, so it wasn't really that like impactful when I got it for the video, but on my own I was just like, oh my god, I got this freaking shiny Charizard. And at this point I knew that shinies were going to be really cool to get, so to get literally the face of Shining Reverie was insane. And then funnily enough, later on I got the shiny Charmander from the same set, of course. It's just really funny that I got like the stage 2 and the basic. Very, very interesting. What is this? This is from the same thing. Those are from Palkia. So of course I tried to get back to Palkia, but I couldn't get a lot of the stuff I wanted. And then as we go along here, we're going to start seeing that I got a lot of the shinies. So like Pachirisu here, and then Rivaroom. A lot of random shinies are thrown in half the time just to kind of be like filler, but they're still cool nonetheless. Then we got our next full art trainer, which was Team Rocket Grunt. I did use him for a while because it was actually pretty interesting to use him in a deck, especially for the opponents and decks that need a lot of energy. This was really useful to have. Obviously it wasn't good all the time because you had to flip a coin, and everyone knows that's kind of random, so it kind of just depends on the game if it wants to give you it. Got a full art Staraptor. We have 2 of them, and then this was the weirdest duplicate I've ever gotten. We got 2 of the same type of rare of Paldean Clodsire. This is very weird. I remember posting this. It was only the one that I posted, and it was just really interesting. I think I tried using this guy. I never was able to use him at his full potential because I think the meta changed so quickly throughout like the year. So anytime something immediately came out, it was only like good, or at least at his peak of good at that time. Things got better after tools were introduced and stuff, but during most times, like, it was just hard to use anything because most of it had a counter. Almost everything in this game has a counter, which is a little annoying to encounter, but it's not that big of an issue. We got, of course, another full art trainer, which is the Pokemon Center Lady. This one's actually pretty good because I actually use it most of the time. So another banger one. And then we got, let's see, full art. Okay, this is actually interesting. I have 3 of these somehow, but this card in particular, I started using it in a deck, and this is not going to make sense until I actually show you guys the decks. But during the time of like getting these cards, I started understanding how to actually build decks and actually like take advice from other people and like obviously copy other people's decks that were like useful. So it was during this time where I was like, man, I kind of need this card. I didn't even need the full art. I just needed the basic version of the card, which I did eventually get, but getting the full arts for the cards I needed and then just showing that off in the deck was like insane. So it was just like super fun to show and stuff. Okay, so now things get a little ridiculous, as you guys can see right here. Let's just start with Bibarel. I don't know how to actually pronounce that, but we got this full art here. I think I made a joke in the short for this guy where like this guy looks really cute and innocent, but I put like Mortal Kombat music behind it, so it was just kind of funny. It was like an inside joke a little bit. And then this is where things get a little interesting because as you can see, we have 5 of both of these immersives, which is why I wanted to make this as soon as possible, because I want to trade these in. You can't trade them with people, but you can obtain the items with them. We have 5 of these Giratinas, which I think this was the only immersive in Shining Reverie. There's usually only 1 in each set. So I had to keep pulling from this set because I wanted to chase other cards to complete it. But in the process, I got too many of these Giratinas, which is going to be amazing when I finally get to trade them in, because you get 12 of these ticket things. And to be honest, I don't need 5 of these because I have a bunch of other Giratinas that are really cool that I'm going to show in a bit. And honestly, this immersive Giratina isn't really my favorite. It was fun to get a bunch of them, but you'll see later on that it gets really annoying. Exhibit B. Dialga EX immersive. Okay, I'm gonna explain it later, but right now we're gonna focus on this. So I have 5 of these, of course. This guy I really liked to get, even though I had the other Dialga as well. I definitely wanted to get the immersive Dialga as well. Then at the same time, we got 5 of these. I don't know why I kept opening from this pack. I think I was trying to chase something. I don't remember entirely, but this is literally the problem, especially when with the single ones, like for this Giratina set. This has the kind of opposite issue where you could just move on to the next set alongside it, because this came in 2, Dialga and Palkia. But for some reason, I don't know what I was doing. I just kept pulling more and more of these, even though I was trying to get something else. I don't remember what I was trying to do, but it's very interesting. I'm going to enjoy the day probably after this that I transfer these things. I'm going to say transfer because that's what you do in Pokemon Go. So whatever. But at a certain point, we started getting more of these full arts. So we got Goldango. We got 6 of these things, which was annoying. I can't wait to transfer a bunch of these. And then we got another 6 of these Buzel things. I don't know how to pronounce that. We got 2 Mesprits, 2 of these things. We got Regigigas, which we got 3 of these apparently. He's my favorite Reggie. I know everyone else has like different favorite Reggies, if they even like the Reggies. But Regigigas is, not only is his name really fun to say, but like he is pretty like cool, especially in the show. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you'll know. But like just also his lore is really cool to like think about and to understand, which is why I like Regigigas the most. But of course, we move on from that. Where did he even come from? He came from Dialga. Okay, and then next was like what, Machamp. From Solgaleo. Okay, so we're starting the Solgaleo stuff. Interesting. So of course we got like Passimian EX with a little full art here. This was actually pretty cool. I used this a lot because of the offload pass. It was really fun to actually use. And actually, I think if we look a little bit here, it's a little bit later, but we'll talk about him in a little bit. So we got Sandy Gast here, just regular. This one was very interesting because in Solgaleo, I think for Solgaleo specifically in Celestial Guardians, I was trying to get the rainbow border of Solgaleo, but I kept getting these random rainbow borders. So like Delmai's EX, I think he was only useful for like 1 meta. I only got 1 of him. He was pretty interesting. I actually got 1 rainbow Crabominable EX. I don't know how to pronounce that, but this guy was pretty fun to use, especially because it's just very interesting. Because like specifically with him and a few other ones, you could actually like, you just hit and then you do more damage after a successful hit. And then you kind of just keep going. But he had like high cost retreat and it was just a little weird to use. But after that, we got Oricorio full art, which was, this guy will never die because of his ability to nullify basically EXs hitting him, which is just insane. In most cases, like me facing this, I almost have to concede every time, unless I have a basic version of a Pokemon, so not EX basically, and then that's how you deal with them. But just very iconic card in this game because of what it is. And then after that, we got one of my like, not my super favorite immersive, but it was a very, very pretty immersive. Like if you guys look at the video of this, if you guys have it too, and you will know that this is like one of the coolest, interesting ones, because it's all about like Alola, and it shows all the characters, all their Pokemon, and like obviously Lily here. And it was just a very cool immersive to get. During this time, it was just very cool to see. I don't know why. It felt like the summertime. I think it even was the summertime. I'm not even sure. But very, very cool immersive to get. And then we got Guzma. This guy is another culprit of the duplicate crime syndicate. So we got 2 of these things. This one was cool to get. He was very interesting. Discard all Pokemon tools. This one, tools were introduced, or I don't know when they were introduced, but you get tools and stuff. This guy takes them all down. Really fun card to use. Not anymore, but I think like most decks you could like sneak them onto and you catch an opponent off guard. It's really fun to actually see. But the fact that I got 2 of them, like kind of brought me down in spirit, but whatever. And then actually in the other set, so Lunala, we actually got the full art trainer for Essarola. I don't know her name. I don't actually know how to pronounce it, but this one was pretty fun to use. The only issue is that you can't really use it, at least I can't, because you need to have basically Palossand or Mimikyu, which I don't really use that much, but it was fun to get. And then is this the same? Okay, this is still Lunala, basically Celestial Guardians. So the shinies were still a thing, of course. They were a thing way after that as well in every set basically nowadays. But I remember pulling this guy. It was really fun to see. A little shiny Marowak. One of the first, like, I think it was one of the first, like, other 2-star, like an actual EX shiny that I got. And I think if we go up, I didn't really get any more of them. No, yeah, that was the last time. That Charizard was the last time I got a 2-star EX shiny. So this guy was like a return to that. It was really fun to see. And then in that same Lunala, like you can see a pattern here. When I get the thing for the set, and for this guy, we're still in Lunala, you can kind of see a pattern when I do the videos. It's kind of hard to like predict the pattern, but anytime you see me move on to the next set, it's because I've pulled that immersive, because the immersive is kind of the glue that holds me together to a set. And once I get that immersive for that set, I move on to the next one. I don't really care too much because I don't want duplicates again. Ever since the freaking Palkia and Dialga thing, not Palkia, but ever since the Dialga and Giratina thing happened, anytime I get the immersive, I move on. I move on to the next thing and I don't look back. So that's just to explain why at a certain point I just focus on one set entirely. But I think at this point, even though I got both of the immersives, I'm still trying to get all of the other cards, like all these rainbow border ones. So that brings us to here. I'm gonna call him Decadui, even though his name isn't Decadui, but I've heard some people call him that, and it's just kind of like a funny joke. This card was especially fun to use alongside Meowscarada. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it was really fun to use in that deck. I will show you guys the deck in a bit, because I still actually have it, surprisingly. But yeah, very fun card. If we actually swipe here, we got the other Passimian EX card that I have, this time Rainbow Border, which is really cool to use because I could actually use 2 of them now in the deck, which was fun. Very fun to see. And then we got another shiny EX, which was one of my personal favorites because I started using Executor EX, even though I'm pretty sure they're from, what are they from the, oh, they are from like the first set ever. I slept on Executor EX for so long, but once I started using and coming back to Celebi, I started using this guy for the decks, and I actually still have the deck still, because this guy is like, you just want 1 energy and he started. As long as you find the evolution for him, you can start dishing out damage, and you don't really need to worry if it's 80 or 40, because he's going to do 40 regardless, plus the 80 if you actually flip the coin, while you're giving energy to your bench, which is Celebi, which is insane for the time. I remember it was pretty fun to use. If you're like super lucky, you could get pretty far with it, because this guy could go down and you can just bring Celebi in and hopefully knock out everyone else. So a little bit of lore there for why he's kind of my favorite. He's marked as my favorite as well. Plus he's just a really cool shiny. And then we got a few full arts, and then we actually got the chase card that I was trying to get, which was the Rainbow Border Solgaleo. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name, but whatever. This guy was really fun to get. I didn't even mind that I got one special Solgaleo. The other Solgaleos are just like regular diamond ones, but getting at least one of them was pretty cool because I remember having a deck of him. I have like 3 or 2 decks with him in it, because he was really in the meta for a while. Like once this deck came out, using him a lot, especially with the other cards that allow you to get more cards from your thing, pairing them up with him was very cool. And his ability to just Rising Road is really cool as well. Just switch him in anytime as soon as you're ready. Almost a guaranteed KO at that point. And then of course we got more shinies. So this was actually when Extra Dimensional Crisis happened with the Ultra Beast and everything. So we got 2 shinies off the bat with Froakie and Pidgeotto. Froakie was definitely a really cool one because I was always using Greninja in a lot of the decks I've used, and it was really fun to finally get the shiny of that. Then of course we got like the full art Blescephalon, whatever his name is. Got 2 of these things. I think I remember this guy being not so good. People found a use for him, and I'm actually kind of proud of them to find a use for this guy, because I'm one of those people that are like, okay, yeah, sure, any card can be useful, and I imagine they all are in a specific scenario, and it's really fun to see people find a use for cards that are underutilized, especially when they make fun decks that you could like copy and use alongside them. It's just very fun stuff. And then I remember getting this Aerodactyl EX shiny was like one of the most popular shorts I posted. I think it was like 2,000 views or something like that, and I say that because nowadays I don't get that many, but getting this guy and then that short up to like that many views was really fun to see, because I don't even use Aerodactyl EX, but I think he's a fun card, especially his rainbow art card that I don't have is really cool to look at. But nonetheless, I got the shiny, so that was fun. Then we got this other full art, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but he evolves from Rockruff, so that's pretty fun. And then my other prized possession shiny is this Celebi. Celebi, of course, was very special to me at the start of the game when the set came out, so to get the shiny of it, and this is the full art, and that's what the full art regular looks like, which I never got. These these are all the Celebes I have. I'm missing one. I don't really mind not having it because I have these, but getting this was really, really like cool because it was the first time I've seen the shiny of them, which is pink. I never knew that at first. And then just being able to use it in the deck with the other shiny I have with Executor is really fun. And then actually a little bit later, I got Buzzwole Immersive. Insane. Really, really cool immersive to get. It reminds me a lot of All Might in a way. And just a very cool like meta to be in at this time because it was mostly Buzzwole and the Cella whatever. This guy, Celesteela. I have 3 of them apparently, and I only need 2 ever because you could have 2 in each thing. But I ended up getting 3, which it's still cool, but obviously I might need to transfer one of them. We did end up getting the full art Pheromosa, which was very interesting. These caught my eye a lot because it almost looks like there's lore behind them. I don't know what the lore of them is, but it was very interesting to see. Then of course we got more shinies like Shiny Jinx, and then we got Celesteela, and then we got oh no, I went back to Solgaleo because we got Wigglytuff EX. This was a weird one to get. I don't even know if I recorded. I think I did, but it was just very random shiny EX to get. And I think down here, what was this? This was still extra dimensional. We got like 2 full art Rowlet. We got 3 of the Comfies. 1 Rockruff, which was like another popular short on the channel as well. Tapu Bulu, Venusaur, Shiny. I got, how many of these? I have 2 shiny Starmies, and then I remember some people saying this is not their favorite shiny, which I mean, I could kind of see it. But the fact that I got 2 of them now, I might just keep them that way. I remember using Starmie a lot in a lot of the decks. I think alongside Palkia was a really fun meta. And the fact that they don't have any retreat cost, it was really, really weird. But yeah, another fun shiny to get. And then I got their basic as well with the shiny Staryu, which was kind of fun. As we're scrolling down here, this is where things get interesting. So we got more full arts, of course. Then we got shiny Zapdos, which is really fun because I realized in this set, what is this, Eevee Grove? We're starting on Eevee Grove already. All of the legendary birds were on this set. So I made it kind of like in the back of my head to try to get all of the shinies. I never thought I would, but we'll see how possible that was in a bit. So we got Zapdos, of course, like I explained earlier, was one of my favorite full arts I've got. And then to get the shiny of it was really cool as well. We got the shiny Electrode, which was pretty interesting. And then of course with Eevee's Grove, we started getting the full art Eeveelutions, which was like another favorite thing that I knew I was going to want as soon as I saw the Eevee Grove thing. So we started off with Umbreon, which was really cool. We got Snorlax EX Rainbow Border, which was another fun nod to the other thing that I was talking about, which was that he blocks the path all the time. Then we got full art Flareon, the full art Eevee, which was really fun. I think, did we get 1? And then we got 2 of these, which was fun. Then we got the full art Espeon. And then if we go back out here, we got 2 shiny Lappers. That's cool. And then I have 3 shiny Moltres. I don't even know if that's the plural, but it's just insane. I got 1 and then I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then 2, I'm like, okay, that's nice. And then 3, I'm like, oh boy. So I knew because it's only 1 like pack in the set as well, I'm like, oh no, that's gonna happen again, isn't it? And sure enough, it did happen. I got 2 Articuno EX shinies, which was crazy. And I think after that, I was like, oh boy, if I get another freaking shiny bird, I'm gonna lose it. I think luckily I didn't. I stopped at 2 shiny Articunos, ended up getting 2 shiny Farfetch'd, which was, you know, interesting. And then we started getting the full art evolutions again. So we got full art Vaporeon, of course. Very, very nice looking card. Especially, it's like way better than the other full art Vaporeon, which there actually is another one. I think this was the first time I realized that they could make more full arts of the same Pokemon if it's from another set. So I forget where that happens in this game, but like this is one of the cases, of course. Like we already have another full art Vaporeon, but now there's another one. It is very interesting to see. I think this guy, oh my god, I have 2 of them. This was when they added another Dragonite, this time an EX, and this was the Rainbow Warder, and I have 2 of them for some reason. I completely forgot about that. Of course, we got the full art Sylveon. And then the other type of Sylveon, we actually, okay, so a little story here. We had 2 of these before. I remember pulling 2 of these, but I decided to sacrifice one because of a trade I did. I might actually go back to the trade history because it might be there to see what I traded this for. But yeah, it was really fun to actually get 2 of these because at the time you would pair this like with 2 of these because of the ability Happy Ribbon. You would get 2 extra cards. It's basically like a free Professor Research when you evolve one of these things. So it was really fun to use. Then of course after that we got shiny Curlia, which is pretty fun because I didn't have the other shiny Ralts or anything or shiny Gardevoir, but I did get the freaking middle stage, which after the rare candy came out, you don't really see a lot of. So just very interesting thing to get. We got full art Glaceon. We got 2 of them actually, which was pretty fun to get. I think one of them I got from a Wonder Pick and the other from the actual like pack. So it's very interesting to see again. And then oh my god, another case of like getting 2 of the same full arts. I don't even know what the chances are, but we got 2 full art Dragonite EXs. And this is where like it's a little interesting because I have 2 of these and then I have 2 of these at the same time. And then, oh boy, we're going to start with the immersives again, but we got the 2 Leafeon full arts as well. I like these full arts a lot because I think I have all of them at this point, and it's very fun to see them surrounding the other full art Eevee. I'll show you guys in a bit. It's gonna be really fun to look at, but because it's 1 pack, of course, we ended up with 4 Eevee EX's immersives, which is a very cool immersive in its own right, but to have 4 of them, like, come on. Little ridiculous, little redonkulous there. But I believe after that, was this the next set? Yeah, okay, so this is when Ho-Oh started. Got a few of those full arts immediately, and then a little bit after, I got this freaking full art Skarmory EX, which was really cool. Skarmory was used usually in a Solgaleo deck, but that was the basic Skarmory. This is now an EX Skarmory, which I didn't get to use that much, but I know that he's really cool to use. And this was actually another one of those like semi-realistic looking ones, so I was really happy to get one of these. And then shortly after that, we got a freaking shiny one of these, which is really fun to use because I think at the time I still used the other deck alongside the other rainbow border one. So it was kind of fun to like pair them up together and show it off a little bit. And then I think after a while, like I didn't actually use them that much because they started falling off in the meta, so it was a little unfortunate to see, but you know what happens. We got some more full arts here like Gligar and Wobblefoot. And then this is where we started getting some really cool shiny. So we got a shiny Glaceon EX. So this is, I think, yeah, this was in the Lugia set. Like immediately off the bat, I think they started giving the evolutions more EXs, not shinies, but more EXs and shinies at the same time. So this was the one time that like I actually started getting these, which was pretty fun to see. I only got one of them, but we only ever need one, you know. Then, of course, we got a full art Jolteon. I think I went back to the Eevee set. I'm not actually sure. Oh, you know what? No, I know what it was. I wonder picked for this. That's how I got this. Okay, it all makes sense now. Then we got another 2-star trainer after a little while of not getting much of them. We got Will, which is actually like fairly recent in my head because I remember vividly the video that I posted for this guy. And it was pretty cool. And then we get into some crazy stuff because I have a shiny Magikarp, but I have 2 shiny Gyarados. And this thing, people made a big deal out of this thing because you actually had to pull one or 2. I think it was only 1. Or the secret mission or whatever. And then here I am just getting 2 of them casually, and the Magikarp. So it was just bizarre to see. Yeah, just very, very interesting. Then we got a shiny Mankey. I actually remember getting this guy because of the video I posted. It was very, I don't know, I think it did well in terms of views and stuff, so it just stuck to me for some reason. Then we got more full arts, of course. This is when we started seeing more baby Pokemon. Yeah, I think it started with Ho-Oh. I don't know if I skipped any, but this was one of them. And then for some reason we get 2 Rainbow Border Lantern EXs. So, I mean, very nice card. I really wanted it when I saw it, but to get 2 of them, of course, you know, you run into that issue. Then we got 3 full art Zatus. I don't know how to actually pronounce that, but these are really cool because I remember like vividly getting it for the multiple times. It was just very interesting. Man, we've been talking a long time and I could already hear my voice dying right now. We're gonna try to get through this quickly. We're almost done. We got more shinies, full arts, and actually I should talk about this. This was my, in Ho-Oh specifically, this was my Chase Evolution card, specifically Umbreon EX. I have 2 of them. I'm very happy that I have 2 of them. I had the option to trade one in for something else. I really did not want to because this is just my absolute favorite like rainbow border ever because the art is so cool, and Umbreon is not my super favorite right now, but Umbreon is just a really cool looking Pokemon, and I really just wanted to like have 2 of these things because it was insane that I even got 2 at all, or even 1. I think I got 1 very, very soon after the set actually released, or at least after I like started going for Ho-Oh a little bit more, because of course we had Ho-Oh and Lugia at the same time, so I started going for one or the other like back and forth. So just getting 1 of these was like really cool to see, and then getting 2 was amazing. And then I think at that point was when I stopped opening those Lugia and Ho-Oh packs because I think the new set came out, and we can see here Secluded Springs came out. And the reason I stopped opening those was because in the Secluded Springs thing, the meta with Suisune or whatever their name is, I don't know how to pronounce it that well, but the meta with them was insane. And we're gonna see how insane it was with the deck that I have. So that's why I immediately stopped hunting for those and immediately started going into Secluded Springs. So you're gonna see a little bit of a divide here, but I got this Rainbow Border NT, which is really cool. The video actually did really well as well, so very fun to see. And then my second crown rare ever after like months and months, basically a full year, is Mantique. I don't actually know how to pronounce it. I was like, this guy, really? But you know, it's a crown rare. I'm not gonna complain. Is my second ever, and to be honest, some people don't even have one, so to have two is really fun. I'm really like grateful for it. It's just really funny because when I do use this, it's like in the most random decks ever with water types, so it's just really funny. But yeah, that is my second ever crown rare, which is super cool. We go down a little bit, we got Stunkfish, Fampy, and then this was the reason I skipped to Secluded Springs. We have two of these immersives. I didn't even want the immersive, but I got two of them, which was perfect. And getting this was pretty iconic in terms of like how I paired it in the video with music. But regardless of that, we got two of them. And I think after that, did I go back to Ho-Oh? I did. Like immediately I went back, and then we got some full arts, but also the full art Skarmory EX. So we have two really good Skarmory EXs to use. And then why is this guy here? He's a Charizard thing. I must have got this from a Wonder Pick or a trade. So just very interesting. Got more full arts, more full arts. Then we got shiny Leafeon. We have two of these. I don't know how I got these. I think I Wonder Picked for one and then pulled the other one. So very, very strange pulls. I don't really remember entirely, but I think I remember the video of it that I posted. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna like double check, but these are really cool to get. And then because we had Suisune like immersive already, I went back to Ho-Oh, obviously, to get the immersives, and thank goodness we ended up getting the immersives. So the first one for like the Wisdom and Sea of Sky, we started off with Ho-Oh EX immersive. This guy, so there was a whole drama with it. I'm not gonna talk about that, but there was a whole drama. Art was changed. It's whatever. It's kind of fine. The immersives are like kind of hit or miss most of the time, but they're still cool. Like they're really fun chase cards. And I was so relieved to finally get this one at least. Because as you can see, I kept getting these regular Ho-Oh cards. I never got a single one of the other ones, but I was so thankful to finally get the immersive of this guy. Then after that, I got another full art. We got actually full art Kingdra, which was pretty cool, I guess. I don't use them. We got shiny Magneton, which was fun. We got two of these Chikoritas, which this little Pokemon here has become my favorite, just like in terms of cuteness, because they're just so adorable. Look at them, little full art right there. Very nice to see. Along with Cyndaquil, we got three of these. I gotta transfer them or trade them. Very, very adorable at the same time as well. And then a really cool card in my opinion, Espeon EX full art. My God, it looks so amazing. The purple in the background with the starriness of it all. Very nice card. And then of course another, actually two of them, two baby Pichus here. I guess, I don't know if they're called baby Pichus. There's a baby Pokemon, I guess, in terms of this game. But, you know, very fun to get. Then we got two shiny Nidorans, I guess. And then we got the three of these full art Skizzers. Really funny. And then finally, we got immersive Lugia EX. Oh my God, I had so much tension taken off of me when I finally pulled this, because I think at the same time, is it actually shown in here? I don't remember if the new set came out already. No, I don't think it did, because I think as soon as I pulled this, we had a little bit extra time before the next pack, which was of course the deluxe thing, which we don't have a lot of good cards from the pack, but it was very, very cool to see them. Did I even finish talking about this? This one was really cool to get. I really liked getting this card. The music I paired with it was outstanding. I waited to use the music I used because I knew that this card was going to be worthy of it. It was very relieving to finally get this card because I was finally done. I wasn't done with the set yet, but I was finally done chasing the immersives. That's honestly the most important thing to me, like I said. So just a lot of weight lifted from my shoulders to like finally get that card. But you know, now we move on to the arguably a weird set. It's really cool that they did this, but you know, it's just really weird with the deluxe pack EX thing. But we got this cool trainer off of it, Lucamine, which had a lot of lore behind it. So the song I picked kind of portrayed that a little bit, if you kind of like, if you know type of thing. But very cool card to get. Then we got shiny Giratina, which if you know from earlier, I already have so many Giratinas. So to just get another one that was really cool to look at was kind of relieving, because I can now not have to look at the other one, the immersive, because I honestly don't want to use it. It's not as good looking as all these other ones. So yeah, really cool shiny to get in general. We got a lot of full arts. A lot of the chase full arts are in here. So like Gardevoir was a chase one for a lot of people. Greninja was really cool to get. I got two of these, which is actually really awesome because the way you use him, you usually need two of them. So it's really cool to have two of them as the full art like that. So very, very cool. And we're going to get into some ridiculousness right here. We have obviously the immersive for the deck, or the pack. God, I keep saying deck. But we have three of them. My God. But honestly, this whole immersive is really cool to look at because it's every pack from Genetic Apex to, I think, just a Ho-Oh at this point when the pack came out. So it was really cool to see. Of course, we had to pull 3 of them because, you know, that's the lay of the land. So whatever. But I didn't get so many of these cards, these like special 2-star full art ones, but I did get the ones that interested me. So of course we got Arceus, but we have 2 of them for some reason. I think I either wonder picked one of them and pulled another one in the pack, but we have 2 of these. This guy, obviously, like I said earlier, is one of my favorites to use. So I'm honestly pretty happy to get 2 of them, but I obviously didn't need 2 of them. Nonetheless, still pretty good to use. I am like running out of breath talking this whole time. All right, but regardless, we got a few more of the chase cards, actually a little too many. We got 3 full art Farfetch'd, pretty cool card. We got 4 Florgato cards, so like I don't need 4 of these. If anyone wants them, I could just, you know, trade me something good for them, but my lord, I didn't actually need 4 of them. But actually, like a little bit of lore here, like this actually completes the set of what like this whole evolution thing is. So the basic starts off like I think on a roof or something, and then this one is the next evolution running across the rooftops, and the stage 2 is actually them on like the tower in the distance. So it's very interesting piece of storytelling. They were actually able to finish the story, which is actually really cool. But yeah, that bit of lore was pretty cool. And then Darkrai EX shiny, don't forget, like oh my god, it's the same like art type but just shiny. And I do have a shiny in like Pokemon Go, so like I already knew what it was going to look like, so I was really happy to actually get one in this game. Very, very cool shiny, and Pokemon in general. And then after that, we did get just one more of the special type of EXs from the set, which was Lunala. Again, I don't actually know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm reading it as I see it. But this one was really cool. I didn't get too many Lunalas from the actual set. I think I only got one of the regular 4-diamond one. So to finally get like a special type was really fun to finally see. And what's a little sad is that I never pulled Lunala that much, so I never got to use them as much as Solgaleo. But I mean, I am happy to have these since now I could like technically use them anytime I want. But I think that was the last time I opened stuff from that set, because yeah, we went back to Solgaleo, I guess. And then I think now with Keldeo and stuff, we move on to the current set right now, which is really, really cool. So we got full art Keldeo, we got one of them, Corviknight, which is fun. A few of these full arts that are really fun. We have a shiny Litten from Mega Gyarados, which is awesome because of what we'll see in a little bit right now. And this actually, so the reason this is red right here is because we now don't need duplicates to actually obtain the sparkly stuff, which is only a change for the new set. I think it starts with the mega set right now. Plus, I think if you get 10 of a card of the same card, you get automatic flare for it, but that only starts with this mega set. So it is very interesting. We got more full arts right here. I think I had 2 Gloomies, but I traded one because I didn't really need more of them. And then we actually have a shiny Dialga. So I might have a bunch of immersive Dialgas, but now we have a shiny one, which is interesting. I've never seen the shiny for this Pokemon, so it was really cool to see. And then, my goodness, my prized possession right now, my only immersive Mega Blaziken EX. Oh my god, you guys have no idea how much I love this card and how much I love using the deck right now. I have another regular Blaziken, like the non-EX one that I use for the deck, but I do have another regular EX that I can use. So I do have a ton of these that I could trade and still have like the Blaziken that I need. I mostly just need the immersive. My goodness, it's one of my favorite. I pulled this so early because I knew Blaziken was going to be my chase that I wanted, especially the immersive, and to get it so early was insane. I was like immensely happy when I got this. I don't even remember where I was. I just remember getting it, and I was the most happy I've ever been in a long time playing this game, because I get a bunch of rare cards here and there, but they're kind of whatever. Like I think Litten is cool, Lunala is cool and all, but at that point I'm past those Pokemon, especially from the deluxe set, because they were all older ones. So honestly, I was really just waiting and waiting for the next like mega stuff to come out, because they were announced a long time ago and they finally came out a little while ago. So it was really fun to finally get into it and start using them. But that's a lot of that talk, and we could just move on from that. We got shiny Dartrix, which is cool, I guess. We got full art Luxray, which, oh my god, this art right here, not a lot of people are talking about this. This art should be on like a freaking EX or like a full art EX, because my god, this is like one of the best arts for just a 1-star. And well, not specifically Luxray, but specifically Shinx used to be my favorite before Torchic and Blaziken. So obviously getting this guy was really, really cool to see. I felt pretty happy getting this because it was like, oh, it's like a callback to my Shinx favoritism stuff and all that. It was pretty fun. We got this shiny Puplio, and we're now getting to the modern videos. Like we're getting closer and closer to like everything that I've gotten in recent time. And I think this was from a trade because I really wanted it. This was the Alola Barrel Whack full art. So this was from Lunala. I never pulled it, but I really wanted it, and it was necessary for like a mission, so traded it off with someone, ended up getting it really nice. I think the same thing for Alolan Executor. Yeah, those were from Lunala. I started trading a lot more often these days, especially now, and we're gonna see a lot of that as we like scroll down for the last bit. So we got 4 of these dudes. This was a recent short. More full arts of all these guys. All these guys are really cool. We got full art Tyranitar. I think this was a trade as well, or it was a wonder pick. I'm not entirely sure. I honestly can't really remember, but I definitely traded for this Mewtwo EX. I don't remember what I traded it for. I think it might have been a rainbow card, honestly, because I had a bunch of rainbows. It might have been for the Mew that I had, but I in all of my polling for the Mewtwo Genetic Apex, I never gotten a full art like one of these. And I finally do. It's really awesome, and I'm glad I have it. And then, honestly, very recently, we're not even up to the point, but very recently, we have this freaking shiny Incineroar EX, which is awesome. I used to love using Incineroar a lot, and I never had any of the like cool full arts of them. And now I finally have at least one of them, so that's pretty awesome. I don't know why my low tick is here. I think this is here because I pulled it recently. Then we got a full art Jolteon, which was another recent video. I don't know why these are a little out of sync. Like, I think I pulled Incineroar after them, but you know, it's whatever. This Wishy-Washy EX was one that I recently traded, so that's why it's a little low on the list, but still really cool. And like, I had it favorited, like as if I wanted it, but I definitely would have wanted another type of rainbow card, but this guy's pretty cool too, since I did remember wanting him a lot back when it came out, so that's pretty cool. And we got some more full arts, shiny Bidoof here. We're actually at the very bottom now. This is basically going to be spoiling what we've gotten now. Well, we got full art Stoutland. We got 2 of them. We have a full art Ludicolo, and as you guys could probably tell from me only pulling from Gyarados packs, it's because I finally got a Mega Altaria EX immersive card. So ever since I got this one, I started moving on to Gyarados pack right now, the Mega Gyarados pack. And that's a little hint to always like suspect. I think it's actually hard to tell because I'm not actually pulling from Gyarados right now. You guys are going to see that I'm pulling from there a lot more now. Only after I post this one though, because right now I think you guys are still barely going to be on this one actually. As of recording this, I mean at this point you probably you guys have seen all of this already. At this point you guys haven't seen this one. You haven't seen the mega immersive thing right here. But hopefully after this video you guys will have seen all this and it won't be that much of a spoiler. But after that we also did get this full art Hydreigon thing. This card's really cool. I did want it. I'm glad I got it because I'm building a deck off of it, and I'll actually show you guys that in a bit. Since we're actually done explaining all of this crap that I don't need to explain anymore, we've basically explained the full like scope of everything, and now I could show you guys basically everything as I look at it. So every time I log into the game, I look at it like this. It's sorted all by rarity, and I could actually show you guys. I don't know how many people know about this. I definitely didn't until like a few months ago, but you could do this where you basically just zoom out and you can see all of them. It's a little hard to see because of how small it is, but you just do that and you zoom back in and it looks really cool. Little thing I wanted to show after explaining all of the lore of that. It has been me talking this whole time, but I want to talk about just a few more things before we end that off here. So let's go into binders because these are kind of fun to look at. Some of these are private because they don't really matter that much, but I have this Evolutions one because I like the way I sorted it here. So we got full art Eevee in the middle along with all of the other full arts, which is really cool. That's why I chased them and they were really cool to actually like sort in here. But then there's another set down here. So down here we have the EXs that I'm trying to pair up. So we have Eevee EX in the middle. We got Espeon, Flareon, Leafeon, Glaceon, Sylveon, Umbreon, and Jolteon. And we do have a Vaporeon as a placeholder until we get a Vaporeon EX. Some of these I don't have like a rainbow or a full art or a shiny, so some of these are a little out of whack. So there's like a little bonus section down here that I kind of made. And I made this like shortly after the game started when they didn't even have that many Eevees, but I did my best to make this look good back then. and it looks way better now because they actually have the Eevee's Grove thing that came out, and it's really cool. Next, we actually have just like EX cards, which isn't really that spectacular because I made this like when the game came out shortly after. So we got some like, well, actually this was a little way after because we have like Licky Licky right here and Arceus. So this was like around that same time, but that one doesn't really matter. I got a favorites thing here, but this isn't really up to date either. The more important ones are these rainbow ones. Oh, this is not even up to date either. Oh, it has NT in it. Oh, interesting. Maybe it is up to date. But we got this to show off like, you know, the rainbows that I have because rainbows are really cool. And then I made one for alternates, but there's so many alternates in the game now. You overfill this thing. You can only hold 30, which is a little lame, but I fit as many as I can in there. And then immersives is actually me collecting all of the immersives, and it's really cool. I have it up to date right now. And this is actually a good opportunity to talk about something that I didn't even speak about. You may have noticed if you were astute, I'm missing an immersive. I don't have Palkia immersive. And frankly, it's because I'm a little too late on it. When I started trying to get Arceus, Giratina, Guzma, Lily, I kept trying to go back and like for Palkia, but I would never get it. So I think what my plan was that later on in the year, I think next year, they might combine the pack points into just a collective pile so that maybe I could just go and buy it with those pack points. Or I could just pull it off randomly one day, or maybe they'll allow trades for immersive. I don't know. One day we'll see if I could ever get it, but right now I'm technically missing an immersive. But honestly, I'm not really too phased by it because Palkia is cool, but they're not really too crazy. So that's kind of why I don't really care about it. This one's a little funny because I named this just Y. This was when I started getting too many of the same. It's not really that organized. I'm going to get rid of this thing because I'm going to obviously transfer most of them. But it was really funny to have that there because it's like, why do I have these many duplicates of these cards? They're just really funny. Obviously, the shiny thing, there's too many shinies at this point. So I'm just kind of fitting all of the EX shinies because they're a bit more important. So anytime there's a new EX shiny that I get, I kind of just delete one of these ones down here and input it up here. So obviously Dialga was the other one. Actually, I have the Incineroar that I don't have in here, so I got to put him in here soon too. All right, interesting. And then we have Holo cards, Psychic, Gen starters. I'm actually going to end it off on this one. This one's really cool because I had this idea when this little background came out of just doing these starters in order. So they're all sorted by the generation. So Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Oh, I could kind of start it right now. I actually completely forgot. I could put Torchic right now. And then we have Gen 4, Gen 5, 6, and 7. What I ended up doing was that any of the cards that I have a rarer type, I'll just put that in there. So that's why there's like shiny Froakie right there. And then grass types on here, fire types on the middle, and then water types on the side. It's a really cool little like side project to work on because as the generations come out, along with their starters, you could actually just start doing this and it's really fun to see. I definitely got to start putting Torchic in here, but the other two, I don't think we have. So I'm going to have to like wait on those, but it's going to be fun to eventually see that. So that's all my binders, not all of them, but most of them that are important. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are my decks. Actually, we have display boards, but some of these aren't that important. Like some of these are just cool. My main one is this like shrine. I have a Mega Blaziken on my home screen. Very, very fun one that I have. This one's pretty cool because it's just those gen starters and everything. That's as far as like these like display boards go. You know, they're not really that great. They're kind of just okay. But I think the last thing we should talk about, even though it's not that important, if you want to end the video here, you could just like log off right now, go watch something else. But I'm going to talk about my decks a little bit. So they're not sorted and they're not named too often. Only some of them are named, and you could judge me for how bad some of these decks are. I don't really care at this point, but some of them are just kind of more for function rather than competitive play as well. Like I don't really care about the competitiveness that much. If it has a good reward, then I'm going to play it, obviously, like the Emblem event, because that one was pretty fun to play through anyway. But most of these are mostly for single player play, like when the new sets come out or when there's like a new mission thing that I need a specific deck for. I will just build a random one that fits the job and counters whatever deck that they build in the game. So that's kind of to explain why some of these are not that spectacular and not that important. So we can start with like the deck 1. This is just like a Lucario type deck here where I kind of just have Sudowoodo. Some of these are not like up to date like that much. Some of them don't have the modern tools. Some of them don't have modern like kind of gameplay ideas. Some of these I don't even use. I want to make that clear. Some of these I don't even use anymore because they're that out of date, but they hold significance to me that I want to keep. So that's why, like, before you judge why do you still have this, that's kind of why. Eventually I will delete them if I don't use them. Some of these I do use. But anyway, I don't want to talk about too much negative stuff. We could go into the second one here, and this is what I was talking about. This is my Celebi thing here. I kind of altered it a little bit, like adding Superior. I don't need to, but I do have Executor and Celebi shinies in here, so it's just kind of fun to see and use. Like, look at this. All of this is not that good in like right now, but anytime I just want to have fun in like a less competitive area, I could just use this anytime. It's kind of fun to use. This one, however, Emblem 2, the ones that have names are named for a reason. Emblem 2 is basically the deck I used for the second ever emblem. I don't remember if I beat the emblem, like if I got the last one ever, but I think I got close. So this was me using Shaman for healing, Mew EX for just like the genome hacking as a side thing, because you could use Dialga to give energy to your benched people, including Arceus. And then Arceus was usually the one to go in after Dialga and actually like finish up. Mew EX was like there occasionally in case I can use him, but he wasn't the main focus. It was mostly Arceus and Dialga, and it was honestly a fun deck to use. It's kind of out of date right now. I might have tried to make it more modern, like you can see Repel is in here, but over time it started getting a little outdated, so I don't use it anymore, but I like to have it there just as like a reminder. This is when we started using like Solgaleo. This is like a tried and true Skarmory Solgaleo thing here. Obviously kind of fun to use. Not really so much right now. I mean, you can, obviously no one's stopping you, but I don't know, it's not that great. Then we got Lit. I think this was just me having fun using Litten and Incineroar. This is what I meant by using Incineroar a lot. I had him paired with the new Charizard because I thought the new Charizard was amazing, but this was before all those things where like you could try to get more cards per turn. This was just like raw natural draw power. And then I think here was when this was the Flareon thing. So this is when I paired Incineroar with Flareon, which was pretty interesting to see and use. And then I actually used Hugh, whatever his name is, to actually use on Incineroar to get more damage done, which kind of helped in a lot of cases. Like usually you would use like a red or something for EXs, but this guy you could use just for like any attack that you're going to use with them. So it was pretty cool to see and use. And then this was actually what I was talking about when I said I would talk about this earlier. This is my deck I like to call Hypocritical Grass. This deck, maybe this one not specifically, but this type of deck with Meowscarada and like Decadewey and Rowlet specifically is basically to counter EXs, because Meowscarada's ability is to do more damage to EX Pokemon. And I think you end up doing like 140 if you're facing an EX, which it's a little hard to use nowadays because, you know, that's not really the focus half the time. And if you're not facing an EX, you're only ever doing 60. However, you do get a lot of like health with the Leaf Cape, and then you could use this guy to snipe people and stuff. And obviously I change this deck every now and then to kind of fit the bill that I need to pay. But at the time, it was really fun to use. I think I mostly used it for like an event or something, or actually I did use it for competitive play a little bit, and it was really fun to use. But there were a lot of like workarounds for other people to kind of just counter it, but it is still really fun nonetheless. Let's see, this deck was kind of just a whatever. Using Stoutland was a bit of a meta thing where like you have to use one extra energy to do anything on the opponent's side. If you have this in your active, it applies to them. So it's a really cool, interesting counter to have against them. And then you can kind of counter that with a Tapu Lele, where depending on the amount of energy the opponent has, you do damage based on that, which was very deadly at the time, especially for those decks that require a lot of high energy things. Specifically with that Charizard that needs 5 energy. That was like a good case of it. But pretty interesting thing there. We of course had a Buzzwole EX with Ultra Beast deck here. This was definitely the deck of all time. This one right here. Very fun to use. This is like a little semi-fun. But I didn't use it that much because when I started using it, it was already kind of out of touch with the meta. But it was still really interesting to see. This next deck was called Gimme More. It uses the Stoutland again, but this time I'm using Fighting Energy, and I'm using a Ralts with a Kirlia, but this time a Gallade to do more damage. Because you do 70 damage naturally, but because you're forcing them to, number one, put more energy on, it causes them to then have too much on them most of the time, to where you could either retreat off of Stoutland and go immediately to Gallade and do a bunch of damage, or your Stoutlands go down, like maybe 2 of them, and then you continue with Gallade. And if they're still alive with a bunch of energy, you're just going to do a lot of damage anyway. Even without a bunch of energy on the opponent, even if just one, you're doing still like 90 damage. So it was really, really strong at the time. I don't know if this would work nowadays, but it is really interesting. Getting Stoutland up is a little annoying. I think that is the limiting factor, but it was really fun to use nonetheless. And then I think I had, yeah, this was the second iteration of Solgaleo, because you would pair it with the Morlul thing. And then using this guy, you would get more cards. So the whole thing was, how do we get more cards per turn into our hand? So this was kind of like a way to improve that. But I think afterwards, no, this was actually just another Flareon. Flareon was insane at their peak. It was pretty much like a self-sufficient machine. Even though it would damage them a little bit, that almost never mattered because you just did so much damage. But let me see here. Oh yeah, this was when this started. So I had to change this deck because I didn't have two of the rainbow ones. But this was when you used Sylveon to get more cards. And then I packed this with Incineroar and another Flareon just in case. Like it didn't matter if I had like two Sylveons. Like maybe I had all the cards I needed and then I could just use a Flareon. But this one was pretty interesting. This is when this started for me, at least, to use Sylveon. And then after that, I did try to use a Primarina and Crabominable EX set thing here, deck. It worked every now and then, just not all the time, but it was still really fun to use because I have 6 of these things, so I needed to use them somehow. And then this is like the one way that I found out how. And then this was actually a recent deck that like I started using again, and it's actually really good. So you use Tyranitar with Darkrai and Druddigon, 2 of them to be exact. And I think what I ended up doing, I have 1 Rocky Helmet. I think I was supposed to use 2 of them, but you could, if you're lucky, you could put a Rocky Helmet on a Drud while your Tyranitar and Darkrai are like building up in the background. I think the way I have this set up is you sacrifice your Drud, but by the time he's out, you have either your Darkrai or your Tyranitar set up. It is like very strong, very fun deck to use indeed. And then this one, oh, this was the Umbreon deck I loved using. So of course another Greninja, Darkrai, Umbreon type deck here. I also obviously need to update it because it's a little out of whack right now, but definitely a fun deck back then. This was actually a recent one with Raikou, I think is how you say it. So, and then I paired in Oricorio, but I didn't use this that much because it wasn't really that good. And then I think this one, yeah, this one was when I went full on like sicko mode with the Suisune thing, because you use Greninja and them, and I think Giratina to kind of pair up just in case. I never really used them that much, so I think it was just kind of like a thing you pair up with them just to kind of fill in space. But yeah, definitely a super deadly deck. You could even like modify this to make this better, but super deadly. All of these EXs from this set had Legendary Pulse, which just pulls a card at the end of every turn that they're in the active, which was pretty cool to see and use. It helped a lot, especially with the later deck that we're going to show. But the next deck we have here, I don't even know what this is. We have Mantique right here with 2 Pichu, 2 Darkrai, 2 Kamola, and 2 Arceus. I don't know what I was thinking here. You might have to like call a doctor to explain what's going on here, because I don't know what was happening. But next one was just like another fun thing. This obviously doesn't work, but you can use Moltres, NT, Charizard. I have 2 of the Charizards here. I have 2 of them. So just very weird deck here. Like depends. It's like if you just want to have fun, then you can use this, but not that great overall. For this one, I really wanted to use the new Pikachu EX and the old one. So I made a little bit of a deck here to incorporate both of them. It's not that great, I realized after a while. So it's kind of like whatever. This one though, this is my prized possession right here. We have Torchic, obviously Combuskin, a regular Blaziken, 2 NTs, and Mega Blaziken. This deck, I think at first was insane. I used this, I almost won every match when I was playing the Emblem event with this deck. I think when I just needed the one more win, I think I did lose a few of them, but every other match, I would win by a landslide, and it was insane. This guy, if you get really lucky with the setup, it's very easy to win. Obviously, it depends on the opponent as well, because if they know how to counter it, then you're kind of screwed. But you get really far with just this deck. Very, very fun. And then after that, because I pulled so many Gyarados, I pulled 2 of them, and I pulled the Mantique right here, so I just made a deck to use them. It's actually really insane. When you get these guys up and running, it's like, it's almost smooth sailing after that, because you just get that all set up. And like I said, if you're lucky, it's just super easy to like just plow through someone's deck. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty fun to use every now and then too. And then finally, the last deck I'm actually using uses Tyranitar and the Hydri right here. And it's very interesting because I have the full arts. It's really fun to actually use now, even though it doesn't matter what you have, but it's really fun to actually like try and use this. I'm trying to get better at it because I actually sucked at it like the 3 times I used it because I didn't understand what I was doing. This is a lesson to everyone. Always read what these things do because it helps a lot. After understanding this deck a little bit, I started getting better at it, and I'm kind of just playing with it right now, seeing how it works and how well it does against different things. And honestly, it's pretty fun. Obviously, the only weakness is like grass, but I don't really see grass that often anymore, so it's just very interesting to use. Okay, that is pretty much everything throughout this entire year. We're gonna have to do this again probably for the next year. Probably not. We might just not need to. But that was essentially everything. We've got, I mean, technically over 10,000 cards collected, but this thing only like says less than that. I don't know why, but it's a little interesting. Now we kind of just relaxed here. It's finally over. That is everything explained. Basically my entire showcase of basically all the cards that to me matter, which is like basically all the rares to the immersives to the crown rares. So I hope this was entertaining to watch a little bit, to just have in the background. I know this was a bit longer. It's going to be like a nightmare for me to edit, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this little showcase here. I can't wait to pull a lot more. I can't wait to see what this game has to offer, because it's been a real pleasure being able to like pull a bunch of these like really cool digital cards. It's all digital, but it's still really fun to do. It's a nice little thing to do on the side. And honestly, what's fun to me is that you don't need to really play competitively. You just pull the cards for fun. And that's honestly why I started playing the game. But after like trying out competitive, or like at least PvP, I guess I should say, it has gotten a little interesting to kind of get into. So that's kind of why I'm a little more interested in like emblem events and stuff. But yeah, just very, very fun game. But I don't want to have this drug on for too long. So of course, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to drop a like down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.